Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. Today we'll be giving you an update on the new structure that's formed on Bitcoin. As you guys know, we have seen a breakout of this descending wedge formation that spanned over the course of 3 months. That's 2 months there of correction. The wedge started with a retest of around 31k in April, and it ended with a retest around 25k over here in June. 2 months of correction on Bitcoin has led to a massive upside breakout, an upside breakout that has come up and retested again up to that 31.4k region, which is a rejection zone, a resistance zone that's stemming all the way back here from early to mid 2022. So we've come back up, and basically you could sum Bitcoin upwards quite easily over the last year or so by simply deleting everything on chart and saying, okay, below, say, this line over here that I'm going to draw is the bearish range. Okay, so that's the bearish range over here, right? Below this red line that I just drew in over here, in fact, we'll make it pink, is the ultra bearish range. That's kind of the low range here, the fake out range. This is the normal bearish range. And above this red line is kind of the neutral zone, okay? And we can say that neutral zone kind of ends over here. So kind of getting a little bit bullish in the upper range, but ultimately we're still below. Okay, let's make this line green. Below this green line, which we're at right now, we're testing that green line, we're still below the major bull market support zone, right, from the last bull market. So we're still kind of, knocking on the doorstep of the proper bullish territory, which is up here above that 31k level, around above that 31k level, I should say. There's no exact number to it, but as you can see, there's three kind of decisive ranges we've got. We've got the range below the pink line, which is ultra bearish, the range below the red line, which is kind of bearish enough, and then the range between the green line and the red line, which is where we're at right now. And we're kind of knocking on the doorstep of getting back in that bullish, that super kind of bullish territory where we saw the playground of the 2021 and 2020 bull market. So we're knocking on the doorstep right now. In fact, let's bring back the chart we just saw. We're knocking on the doorstep, and the reason why I'm making this video is to show you that the knock, I guess you could say, the knock on the door is getting louder. That's a weird metaphor, but it's true, okay? The knock on the door is getting louder because we've come up, we've broken the descending wedge formation to the upside. This is the 4-hourly chart I'm looking at here. We've come all the way up here. We've got various kind of support lines, these pink uptrending lines. They look a bit complicating, but then they're there for a reason, right? Because they could capture us if we fall. And Bitcoin is now forming a bullish pennant formation, waiting, right, to see whether we'll break above decisively that pennant formation and hence break above 31.4k, hence re-entering that bullish territory, that bullish playground we were talking about, or if we break down and see a correction first. Now, I have been of the opinion over the last few days that Bitcoin is actually likely to see a correction first. I think that most analysts think that is the case, even though we have a bullish pennant formation. And let me clarify, right? Because I know I'm going to get comments saying, "Oh, Wolf, da 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 da." Here, all right, let me clarify. It's not really an opinion that's important to have at all. I'm only throwing it out there for the sake of interest, right? The reason why it's not an important opinion is because you can simply wait for the wedge to the triangle to break, right, before you make a decision. I could very easily sit here on my YouTube channel and say, "Oh, guys, I don't really know. Let's wait for it to break. And if it breaks down, short, and if it breaks up, long." And that's what I'm going to be doing. So it doesn't really matter what my opinion on the matter is. It's not relevant. The fact of the matter is you should be waiting for a confirmation of the move. You shouldn't be entering while we're in a pattern. I don't recommend into pattern trading. That's not what I do. I'm a breakout trader. So my opinion on this pennant, being that it's slightly more likely it breaks to the downside, isn't actually relevant to any of the profits I will make on this trade at all. Because if it breaks to the upside, guess what? I'll still make the same amount of profit because I'll be longing the position. I just want to clarify that because it's important to note, and I'm trying to teach people. Ultimately, what I'm doing on this YouTube channel, I'm informing you over the market, but I'm also giving you tips on how to trade. And it's important to note that traders, it doesn't really matter what their opinion is. If you're a good trader, you make money regardless of whether you're right or wrong, because you have scenarios and you have plans that relate to those scenarios. But okay, regardless of all of that, because all of that's just, for someone who wants to know market directions, mumbo jumbo. The point is, regardless of all that, we're in a bullish pennant formation. Other than the fact we're in a bullish pennant formation, it's not particularly strong. I mean, we're at strong resistance. Doesn't mean we can't break it, and I think we will break it for sure. It's just a matter of when, right? We're at strong resistance. As I said, we're knocking on the doorstep of the previous kind of 2021 bullish playground. Our strong resistance, just seen a move to the upside. We've seen the target for the descending wedge formation, which I can draw up here, reached. It was actually reached perfectly at 31.4k. If I drew it more precisely, you can see it was reached perfectly at 31.4k. So the target for the major formation we saw for 2 months has been reached already. And now we're forming a new target here, a new formation, a bullish pennant formation. Volume is decreasing, however, which is generally usual for pennants, but volume was starting to decrease during the upwards trend, which kind of means there's a bit of weakness there. We're also seeing on the weekly chart, even though we've seen a great weekly candle close, again, this is not a macro perspective at all. The macro looks very good, okay? I'm talking very short term here, but this is very good. Macro looks great, but we do have a bit of a bulge in the volume profile around this price region, which we're just under, which kind of represents on the charts and it kind of visually gives us an idea of where that strong resistance, okay, is. That's dividing us from the important level, which is the entrance to the bullish playground that I've called it, that I've kind of tokened it in this video, right? So a lot of resistance right now, and a lot of resistance around that 31.4k region. If we manage to break 31.4k, if we manage to break above this bullish pennant formation, that's cool, that's good, that's awesome. As of right now, we haven't done that yet, and so it does stand to reason that we could see a correction downwards. Where would that correction go? Well, where's the nearest support? That's the simple question you have to ask. If we're looking for a correction, all we need to do is find the nearest support, and we can actually validate by drawing a measured move from this pennant formation. From the top to the bottom of the pennant, applying it to a potential breakout point, and that would bring us down to around 28.6k, somewhere in that 28.6k, 29k region. That is where the nearest major support actually is. 28.6k, 29k is the nearest major support, as seen by the weekly chart, as seen by the bullish pennants bearish break scenario. So if we were to go downwards on Bitcoin, and that's not certain at all. If we were to go downwards on Bitcoin, if we were to break this pennant to the downside, it will bring us to around 28.6k to 29k. From there, I would think we'd see a higher low. We'd probably bounce off this pink line here or something like that, and then go upwards from there. Okay, that's what we'd be looking for if we were to see the bearish scenario. If we were to see the bullish scenario, it's very straightforward. We just break upwards and break above 31.4k, and we probably flip that for support. So there's two kind of scenarios. It's hard to be decisive about which one is very, very likely to happen. I don't think either of them is dramatically more likely than the other. If I had to guess, I'd probably say the bearish scenario is more likely, just based on the fact we've already seen the descending wedge formation reach its target. Yes, we have multiple bullish indicators on macro, but macro doesn't really relate to short-term too well. We can see short-term corrections while macro looks good. That's for sure. And, also after moving upwards from 24k all the way upwards to 31k without any real proper correction, I think it stands to reason that it would be reasonable to see a nice little dip downwards here to this region before a bounce upwards. Okay, that would be reasonable to me. That would make sense in the charts for me. So I'd say bearish scenario is probably a bit more likely, but again, it doesn't actually matter from a profit perspective at all. And even if you're zooming out past the next few days, it doesn't matter, because I still think we'll go upwards eventually anyway. So my opinion on the topic doesn't really matter, especially given the insignificance of this pennant. But I am informing you of the fact that this pennant does exist because of the fact that it's knocking on the doorstep of the bullish playground, which I've mentioned in this video. I also want to say the pennant is due to break out within the next basically less than 24 hours. Okay, probably looking at almost 12 hours, 16, 13 hours by now, 14 hours, something like that by the time this video releases. And it looks like it might even break down during the filming or uploading of this. We'll have to see on that. It is testing support right now. It obviously hasn't broke down yet. In fact, it just did. So there you go. All right. By the time this video gets out, who knows? Might be a fake out. It's too early to tell. I'm not going to sit here on the video and wait for it to be, wait and do short-term analysis. But I will say this: it has just edged down below that pennant. And so, who knows? That could be a fake out. We'll see. But overall, I mean, look, we were saying it was slightly more likely. We saw a bearish breakdown. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not going to make any claims yet, because you can't make a real claim after 3 seconds of breakdown. But, if it does happen to be an actual breakdown, as I said, 28.6k, 29k is probably the target. If it's a fake out, cool. We're back independent until the 13-hour deadline. So, looking pretty good on the macro charts, as I've said before. And I want to bring up Ethereum quickly as well. Ethereum is following a 5-step plan that it did in the last kind of cycle. Now, Ethereum doesn't really have any cyclical theory, but I did draw up this cyclical theory for Ethereum. And I'm going to discuss this in my next video, okay? I'm not going to discuss it now because it's just going to complicate the video, and I've got the main point I want to bring up in this video for. But if you want to pause the video and see what I've got here, it's very straightforward. There's just a trend that's repeating, a pattern that's repeating, and it's a rough pattern for sure, and there isn't really enough data on Ethereum to be certain or confident about any patterns at all, really. But I will be discussing this soon, so keep in mind that I do have an Ethereum video coming up, or at least a video that's partly dedicated to Ethereum. Bitcoin monthly chart is, of course, the main thing we're looking at. Discussed for a few days now. I'm not going to bring much time to it today, but I will say we want to be seeing a monthly candle close above 29.3k or at least above 27.2k. Obviously, the former is the more bullish one. That's what we're looking for in 4 days. I will discuss that again as it becomes more relevant. If you want to know about what I mean by that now, watch yesterday's video. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. Check out the VIP group, Telegram information group, and the results for the VIP group are in the description below. You can find that. We've got the Q2 results releasing in about 4 or 5 days at the end of the month, so keep an eye for that. Check out all our results, check out all our trade history, info about the group, prices, etc. It's all there. If you want to make money on altcoins, you can do it on Telegram with me on VIP. If you want an exchange, which you should want, of course, you need an exchange to buy crypto, and you should be getting off the major exchanges, I think, at this point in time. By major exchanges, I mean Binance and Coinbase, because they are under investigation. That's not really safe territory, but you know, that's my opinion. I think that Binance is a bad exchange anyway. I've had many problems with Binance in the past, and that's one of the reasons I moved to Bitget. Moved to Bitget around almost 18 months ago now, maybe a bit under 18 months ago. I've had no problems so far. That's my personal experience. 5 times lower fees than Binance, optional KYC, which means it's global, and you get a 15% trading fee discount as well as exclusive rewards if you sign up using my referral link. Go ahead and do that. Guys, Crypto Academy, if you want to learn how to trade, this is the place to do it. Want to learn how to analyze charts, find trades, take them, etc. This is where you can do it. Check out the website, read up all about it, and throw us an email at the email address, which is linked on the website if you're interested. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, leave a comment, all that stuff, boost engagement so we can get the word out. Thank you guys. Cheers.